press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello students. So today let us see the mean of grouped data. So as I told you in the introduction class, the meaning of mean. What is the mean? Mean is nothing but, in a simple way, is an average, isn't it? So, and also I told you there are three methods to find out the mean of the group data. So before going to that, I'll just explain what is group data. Once again, we'll try to recall. In the introduction class, I told you the difference between the grouped and ungrouped data. Okay. Once again, we'll try to recall few points because you are studying the group data in this 10th standard only. Now, group data, it consists of class interval. I told you in the introduction class, and I gave you some examples also, what are ungrouped data and what are grouped data. See, raw data directly we can call it as ungrouped data. Suppose these data are arranged in a proper group, then we call it as grouped data. So it will consist of class interval. For example, yesterday I told 1 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, like this we will make a group here. Okay. And each class interval contains one or more values. Means each class interval, it will contain more than one or one values. More than one also we can find out. Say for example, in the introduction class I had taken the marks obtained by the students of 10 students, isn't it? So there is, suppose the student has scored 5 marks, then it will come under this. If he has scored 6 marks, if another student has scored 6 marks, then also the student will come under this group. Okay. And if suppose 9, if they have scored, and that student also will come under this group. Means each class interval will contain one or more values. Understood? See for example, here 0 to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 also. And the marks obtained is 9 also, they will come under this group. And yesterday I had told you in the previous class, if the student has scored 10 marks, then it will come under this group, not in this group. Okay. If the student has scored 10 marks, he will come under this group and not in this group. Understood? That upper limit you should consider. That upper limit here, if it is the same marks, then of upper limit, then it will come under this one. Next, individual value lose their identities. See here, individual values means the student, if they have scored 8 marks, if the student has scored 7 marks, 6 marks, 5 marks also, they will lose their individual identity and they will come under one group. Understood? So that is the meaning of this point. Individual value will lose their identity. Next, we assume that all the values falling in the class are equal to the middle value of the class interval. See, we assume, see for example, if the student has scored 15, the student has scored 15, the student has scored 16, if they have scored 19, also they will come under this group, correct? So here what will happen, we will assume that the students, who are falling in this group, we will assume that it will be equal to the some middle value. See yesterday, in the previous class, I told you about the class mark, isn't it? Class mark. Class mark is nothing but the middle value. Class mark, I hope you can recall the formula, class mark. Okay. So that is means we will consider it as a middle value. So these are the points, these are the special characteristics of this grouped data. I hope you can understood now. Next, okay, under group data, there are two types. One is continuous form. Continuous or exclusive form. Another one is discontinuous. Or inclusive form. So there are two types of group data. So whenever I come across such type of questions in your textbook, once again we will try to recall. So but before we start the exact how to calculate the mean by various methods, I will just tell you some points. That is, we have two types. One is continuous and the other one is discontinuous. How it appears, the class interval, I will just tell you. See here. Yesterday actually we had given the example 10 to 20, 20 to 30. Here 1 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30. See, I hope you understood the meaning of discontinuous. See here 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30. See, there is a continuous class interval. See here 10, that it is continued. 20 is continued here. But just observe this, 1 to 10 and there is a gap between 10 to 11 and there is a gap between 20 to 21. See, it is not continuous. See, that is discontinuous or inclusive form. Understood? So here, suppose the students had scored 10. Okay? Suppose the student has scored 10 marks in particular subject, then that student will appear in this particular box, in this particular class interval. Okay. Suppose if the student has scored 10, okay, he won't come under this, okay, he will come under this class interval. Yesterday I told you, but in this case it is not like that. Suppose the student has scored 10, then he will come under this block only, not in this. But here you should see the upper limit and the lower limit, then you have to decide. So that is the main difference between these two. Suppose the student has scored 20, then here in this case, in the continuous form, he will come under this group, not in this group. So you have to keep that in mind. Okay. In this case, it is not like that. If the student has scored 20 marks, then he will come under this group. Okay. This is the main difference between these two. Then, how we can convert this discontinuous form into continuous form? So we can convert the discontinuous into continuous form. See, you can understand here there is a gap of 1. So here divided by 2 means 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. So with 0.5 here you have to subtract 0.5 from 1. So you will get 0.5 and you are going to add 0.5 to this upper limit. So this will be 10.5. I hope you understood. See, you have to subtract 0.5 from the lower limit. So from this 11, I am going to subtract 0.5. So it will be 10.5. Then I am going to add 0.5 to the upper limit. So 20.5. I hope you understood. So again from this I am going to subtract 0.5. So when we subtract 0.5 from 21, we will get 20.5 and I am going to add 0.5 to upper limit. So this will be 30.5. Like this we can convert the discontinuous form to continuous form. See, we got the continuous form here. See, 0.5 to 10.5, 10.5 to 20.5, 20.5 to 30.5. So I hope you understood this. So these are the things which you have to keep in mind before working the problems in this exercises. Okay. So these are the things which I wanted to tell you. So let us begin to calculate the mean of the group data. So I yesterday had given you the methods, 3 methods are there. Three methods are there to find out the mean. So first method, direct method. Assumed mean method. Step deviation method. These are the 3 methods which we are going to find out. So today let us see only the direct method. Okay. So in your question textbook exercises, what they have given, if they have not mentioned any particular method, means you can adopt any method. But by the end of when you learn all the 3 methods, means by the end of this doing this exercise, definitely you will come to the conclusion that so for which problem you can adopt a particular method. Now if I tell you, you people won't understand. So let us begin this. Once we learn all the 3 methods, then you will feel okay, this is better method for us to adopt. But all the 3 methods you have to learn. Is it clear? If they have given particular, specifically if they ask you to use direct method, then you have to do it. Otherwise you can adopt any one method. Okay. So let us begin. For the example problem, I am going to take the first one from your 14.1 exercise. A survey was conducted by a group of students as a part of their environment awareness program, in which they collected the following data regarding the number of plants in 20 houses in a locality. Find the mean number of plants per house. See, there they have given number of plants 0 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 8, 8 to 10, 10 to 12, 12 to 14. Number of houses 1, 2, 1, 5, 6, 2, 3. Which method did you use for finding the mean and why? For this I am going to answer at the end. So now we will see how to do this. See, since they have given the vertically the problem, so before we start, I will just write the problems here. Number of plants. So before you start the solution, for the solution also you have to write both the columns here. This is the solution what I am doing. For that also you have to write the question here. 0 to 2, you can't directly write the answer, you have to copy down this. 2 to 4, number of plants, this is number of houses. Okay, I hope you can recall the formula which I had told you yesterday in the class. Actually, we had calculated one example also of the 10 students marks. So, mean bar is equal to sigma Fi xi divided by sigma Fi. I hope you can recall, this is the formula to find out the mean by using direct method. So, here one thing you should note, see when you learn the formula, if the properly you have learned the formula, means this is easy for you to write the columns here. So, what should be the next column, you can decide by looking at this formula. See here, this is Fi, okay. Now Xi, what is Xi? Xi means you all know it is a class mark, okay, Xi. Now class mark means what? Class mark. How will you calculate the class mark? Yesterday I had given you the formula to find out the class mark, isn't it? So that is class mark is equal to, can you recall class mark? Yes, once you go through the textbook you have, so upper limit plus lower limit divided by 2. See the class mark they have given, class mark upper class limit plus lower class limit divided by 2. I hope you can recall it, okay. Now, so let us find out the class mark of this upper limit plus lower limit. So 2 plus 0, 2, 2 by 2 means 1. Next 4 plus 2, 6, 6 by 2, 3, 6 plus 4, 10, 10 by 2, 5, 8 plus 6, 14, 7, 10 plus 8, 19, sorry 10 plus 8, 18, 9, 10 plus 12, 22, 11, now 26 divided by 2, 13. I hope you understood how to find out the class mark Xi, okay. What is the next step? What do we want here? See Fi Xi. Okay, so that will be the next column. So you can put, I'll just try to put here. Okay, this is Fi Xi. Which is Fi? See here, this is Fi Xi. Fi into Xi. Okay, let us find out. 1 into 1, 1, 3 2 is 6, 5 1 is 5, 7 5 is 35, 9 6 is 54, 11 2 is 22, 13 3 is 39. Okay. So these are the columns which we have to put extra column. So for that, in the question what they have given in the vertical column should be written it in a horizontal way. Then only you can start, you can do these two. So totally 4 columns. Now yesterday I think in the introduction class I had told you the meaning of this summation, sigma, summation means sum of all. So sum of all Fi Xi means sum of all Fi Xi divided by sum of all Fi. Sum of all Fi means here. See actually here In the question, you just observe in the question, they have given 20 houses in the locality. So 20 houses in the locality means here sigma Fi, I hope you can see sigma Fi, okay, 3, 4, 5, 10, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, okay, 20, okay. Next, this total up you have to add. So since here, okay, you can see, but I am going to write here. So you have to write here only sigma Fi xi is equal to, okay. Now you can count here 9, 10, 11, 11 plus 4, 15, 20, 25, 26, 32. So 32, 3, 6, 7, 8, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, 1, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11 plus 5, 16. Okay, now 162. So we got 162, the total. So I am not writing anything here, I will write here now. See, now just substitute mean x, sigma 162, the total we got 162, divide by 20, divide by 20. Okay, now mean you can find out. 2 8s are 16, 160, 20, 0.1. Okay. So the answer is 8.1. So here you should write the conclusion by looking at this. Find the mean number of plants per house. So what you will write? The mean number of plants, per house will be 8.1 plants. 8.1, that is approximately, that is 8.1, the decimal point is there, since you won't get the exact value. So 8.1. So that conclusion you should write. The mean number of plants per house. Therefore, the mean number of plants per house is 8.1. So this is the conclusion you have to make. See, why we have adopted, they have given which method did you use for finding the mean. Since I have taught only the mean direct method, so you have used that, correct? But once you learn all the 3 methods, then you have to write the answer for this. Which method? So I have adopted the direct method. Why I have adopted the direct method? Because, see, very important, here the value of, see, please note, the value of xi and fi are small here. Okay, when you do the other problem, the next problem, you will know the difference. So there sometimes the value of this here, the value, if it can be 100, 500, 600, 725 like this, then it is difficult for us to find out fi xi. Then we are going to adopt the different method, that is assumed mean method or step deviation method again. So sometimes this direct method is time consuming method. So you can decide only when you see this fi and xi. Okay, so it will become tedious if suppose if the values are more here. So the values of this will be more. So there we cannot use this direct method. See, only thing is the answer we will get the same, but only thing is it becomes tedious and time consuming. So because of that, this direct method sometimes we are not using it. So once you get to know all the 3 methods, then you adopt any method. Okay. So one more problem I will just show you, the direct method. Then we will move on to the next one in the next class. Okay, I am going to keep this formula as it is. So quickly we will work out the 8th problem. I will tell you why I have chosen 8th. In the coming class I am going to do the other problems. Okay. 8th one, a class teacher has the following absentees record of 40 students of the class for the whole term. Find the mean number of days a student was absent. Okay. So I will start from here. So you can number of days. 8th one in your textbook. Number of days 0 to 6, 6 to 10, 10 to 14, 14 to 20, 20 to 28, 28 to 38, 38 to 40. Number of students. This is FI. 11, 10, 7, 4, 4, 3, 1. Okay. Now we shall draw the line. Okay, what is the next column? Next column will be class mark. That is XI. Okay, class mark you know how to do. 6 plus 0. 6 plus 0, 6 by 2, 3. 16 by 2, 8. 24 by 2, 12. 34 by 2, 17. 48, see here, 20 plus, it is 48 by 2, 24. Next, 8, 8, 16, 1, 66 by 2, 33. Then 78 by 2, 2 3s are 6, 2 8s are 16, 38. See here the class interval, the width of the class interval is different of different class intervals. See here, the width, the size, I told you in the introduction class, the size of the class interval is different. Please note that. Okay, let me check once. 3, 8, 12, 17, 24, 33 and 38. So here 40, 78 divided by 2, 2 3s are 6, 2 9s are 18, sorry, here 9. Okay. Once you check XI 3, 8, 12, 17, 24, 33, 39. Okay. Next, what is the next column? FI, XI. Okay, FI, XI means you have to multiply these two. See, since this is, I mean, we don't have, the value of FI is small, we are adopting direct method. The value of FI and XI is also small. Okay. Now, 11 3s are 33. 80, 84, 7 4s are 68, 4 4s are 16, 1, what is the 8, 96, 3 3s are 99, 39. Okay, let me check with the values. 33, 80, 84, 68, 96, 99, 39. Okay. Now, what is the next step? See here, if you see the formula, sigma Fi xi, and this is sigma Fi. Sigma Fi is this, sigma Fi is equal to, since this they have given in your textbook itself, 40 students. So once you can recheck it whether you have written it correctly, and you can check with the question. 4 3s are 12, 13, 20, okay, 2, 40, correct. Next, sigma Fi means this column, sigma Fi xi is equal to, so you have to add here 9, 18 plus 6, 24, 28, 28 plus 8, 36, 36, 37, 38, 39, 3, okay. Somewhere we gone wrong. $18, 24, 28, 8 plus 8, 33, 80, 84, 68, 96, 99, 39. Okay, 39 correct, 3, 6, 20, 21, 20, 23, 24, 24, 30, 38, 39, 40, 41, 41, 49, 499. Okay, now here sigma Fi xi is 499 divided by 40. Okay, you just you can divide it and find out. 499 1 2 12.4, 7 4s are 28. I think enough. You can find out for 2 decimal point and 12.47 approximate you can write. Okay, approximate value we got 12.47. So conclusion you can write here, mean number of days a student was absent. So therefore the student was absent for 12.47 approximate. The mean number of days, so the mean number of days, so better write, therefore the mean number of days the student was absent. .47. Okay, conclusion you can write. So again, why we have chosen this method? Again, the value of Fi and Xi are small, so we have chosen this direct method. So in the next class, let us see the next method, that is assumed mean method. Thank you.